Hey people of the interwebs, it is Q with another scuba diving adventure. 7:15 Sunday morning, and it's a respectable 16 degrees Celsius outside in what is now technically spring in Australia. I didn't manage to get a dive in yesterday because the conditions weren't right. I didn't even go down to the coast yesterday, so heading down there today on the hopes that things have cleaned up nicely and we can actually get in the water and blow some bubbles. And that's exactly what we did. So my regular buddy Gordon and my new dive buddy Ben set off in search of adventure. We dropped into 5.6 meters of water, which is 18 feet, and the temperature was 21 degrees, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A quick check to see that both my dive buddies were okay, and we moved off on a heading of 30 degrees. One of the first things we came across was the remains of this blue blubber jellyfish. All the tentacles had been chewed off by some predator. It's actually a favourite food of the turtles in the area. It also makes a great frisbee. It's called the blue blubber jellyfish because it has an algae that has a symbiotic relationship with it that photosynthesizes and gives the jellyfish energy, but also gives it a distinctive blue colour. For a fair part of this dive, it was like being in a snow globe that had been shaken up by a 3-year-old having a tantrum. The weed that grows throughout the winter months was finally dying and breaking down and creating this snowstorm effect. Even though the weed was pretty thick, we could still spot the rubbish on the seabed, and of course we picked that up to put in the rubbish bin once we'd finished the dive. One of the things that happens with this weed is it settles down into great beds on the floor and gets moved by the sea surge. It creates a very disconcerting view for the eye, especially as you can see here on the left we have stationary rock and then the weed bed moving backwards and forwards, whilst you, the diver, are also moving forwards. And when it gets really thick, this weed can be knee deep if you were to stand up in it. And of course, that's not advisable, because one of the bigger fish that inhabits these waters is of course the ambush predator, the wobbegong shark. And they like to just hide down in this weed, waiting for something to come along, and boom. So generally, us divers stay at least a meter above this weed, and don't poke our hands or feet in there. As this was the first time I dived with Ben, I wanted to make sure he was okay for air, but when I checked here, he still had 150 bar left. I have some viewers in Canada who are home marine aquarists, and they've requested that I make sure to film some nudibranchs every time I'm on a dive. This fella was just beautiful colours. And it's quite fortuitous that I actually spotted him through all the snow, because as you'll see when I do the finger test, this guy is really, really small. So that beautiful little nudie was especially for you viewers in Canada. Using my hand to try and get some of the moving weed out of the way of the camera shot, you can see how small this little painted cray is as well. Certainly small enough to back into his little hidey hole whenever danger is present. There wasn't too much fish life on this particular dive, except for this little school of reef fish. Not sure what they are. There were, however, quite a few of these orange sea stars, a lot of them with missing limbs, and right next to them a couple of more nudibranchs. There's one right in front of this medium-sized guy. And then as we pan down to this sea urchin, there's one just to the right-hand side in front of the sea urchin. After a very pleasant dive of 58 minutes, we exited the water, which had been 21 degrees centigrade, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Maximum visibility on this dive was about 8 meters or 26 feet. And our maximum depth was 6.8 meters, which is 22 feet. If you've enjoyed this scuba diving adventure with Q, please leave a like and subscribe to see future videos. If you have any questions, leave them down below. As soon as I see them, I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching and take it easy.
It's